Well, hello! Welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist, joined with hubby.
Okay.
And our live studio audience of 4 paws. Woof woof.
Woof.
Hopefully they'll stay quiet. If they get a little rowdy, I will mute and they will leave. Alright. Hey Andrea. Hey Spence. Hey Michelle. And we'll say hey as more come in today.
Is this a public? Or?
This is a public.
Okay.
So hi to all the new people. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Hit your notifications. If you want this and other patterns, click join to become a member and you'll get those for free. Part of your membership. Today we are working on the leaves. I get asked a lot what is the best subject to start burning with, and I tend to fall with leaves, and the biggest reason for that is there's a lot of detail, but if you have an oops or a blob or anything like that, very easy to incorporate into the leaves, therefore they are less stressful. Hey Bob, welcome from Alexandria, Virginia. So that's why I always recommend leaves first, because you really can't mess them up. You absolutely cannot mess up a leaf to save your life. It ain't gonna happen. I promise it's not gonna happen. Even if you think you did, as long as you got tonal values right, you are good to go. And it makes it less stressful. You're more likely to stick with burning, and the longer you stick with burning, the faster you will improve. So our weekly reminder, don't forget to clean your tips. If you're having to, especially if you're having to turn up your heat more to get the same temperature, 10 to 1 your tip needs to be cleaned. How I clean my tips, just real quick, I run my fingernail over the tip to see if I feel any kind of resistance, because they should be very smooth. So if I don't feel any resistance, which I don't, my tip is clean. I didn't burn hot enough to dirty it, but this is my strop. It's two-sided. Ignore the sandpaper. The sandpaper is to sharpen knives, not to clean your tips. Don't use sandpaper. The white on my strop is aluminum oxide. I use the powder. I get this from Mountain Woodcarvers. I'm not sure if I have it linked down in the description. I think it was like, now don't quote me on price, but when I bought this a few years ago, I think it was between $7 and $9, and I will never have to buy any ever again, because this little jar of powder will last for my next 20 years of burning.
That's just asking if that's a challenge.
If what's a challenge? Which part did I say?
I think you use it for the rest of your life.
Oh, yes. So that's the little bit. And actually, I have a lot of on my strop because I've shown you guys over the years how to clean. So just swipe down in the white area on your strop. I would only put a little bit like right here so that you can leave the rest down here clean. Because after you do a couple of swipes, you're going to wipe off on the clean area. Feel to see if you have any more resistance. You might have to do it again, because I tend to burn on a lower setting in general. I don't have to do too much hard cleaning on my tips, which is why Pat, who makes the Optima, is always so impressed with how my old tips look, because they are always nice and good to go. Alrighty, let's get in here. Messing up the leaf. Yes, I want you to try and mess up a leaf.
Oh.
Definitely, Spence. Mess up that leaf. Prove me wrong. Because if you're trying to prove me wrong, that means you're burning. Haha. Win-win. Win-win-win. Alrighty, I am heating up the Optima 18 small. This is the pen I always use. Like every project, this is the one I highly recommend. And I'm starting at owie. I hit my knee. 2 3/4. Thank you for that kiss on my hand, Reba. Alrighty, we are going to focus on this bottom leaf. Let me get you a better photo because I do have that.
I'm very interested in what you're doing.
Yes, she is. That's kind of scary.
She's like, Mom's talking.
Alright, we are going to start with the color. There we go. And then we can move over to sepia. When I'm making a pattern or transferring a pattern or just getting started, I use the color.
Beth says he didn't think about that, but yes, he's burning.
Yes, he is. I'm very proud of him. So I use the color so I know what's what, because in a sepia photo, it can get overwhelming. The purpose of the sepia photo or monochromatic... Oh, click the wrong one. Where is my sepia? Here we go. Let me get that on the screen. The purpose of the sepia is to get your tonal values right. Hey, Sheila. That is the purpose of a monochromatic. It doesn't matter if you do it in blue or red or sepia. It just needs to be monochromatic. That way you can see the difference in tonal value, which for this reference photo I will be adjusting on the spot. So right here we have our cinnamon sticks. This leaf is folded up, which is what I wanted. And so this shows if we do our shading right underneath, our cast shadow, it will give weight to our cinnamon sticks, which just reinforces that it's sitting underneath. So underneath is going to be darker. So just using the tip, I'm going to get that blocked in. Paying attention to what's going on. I'm using just the top half of the tip. Let me grab something to touch with. When I say the top half of the tip, in this case, I'm like from the blade up. That's how little of an area for the tip that I'm using. And I'm making small oval strokes and trying to just make this feel weighted. That's part of the purpose of the cast shadow. Although it is the light, when you have that dark cast shadow underneath, it gives the subject that you're working on, like this, it gives it weight. And when you give it weight, it gives it realistic feel. So I'm going to get the shadow in. Do really small oval strokes, just enough to kind of block it in, because I know I'm going to have to darken the shadow, but now I know where the shadow is, so I can move on to a different part of the cinnamon stick. And fortunately, okay, so this is inside, less light is hitting the inside, and we can get a little crazy with those strokes, so I'm going to turn my wood. Remember, it's easier to turn your wood than stand on your head. Don't ask me how I know, or ask me. I can't stand on my head, so I gotta turn the wood. Alright. I do apologize that I didn't get more burning done on the cinnamon sticks and cup from last week. I actually have a family emergency that's currently ongoing, so I didn't even get this transferred, the rest of it, till this morning before the live. So right now I'm on the top half, not the very tip top, but the top half of the tip. That's why it's burning lighter. And smoother is because I'm doing bigger strokes faster.
Sheila's here.
Yeah, I got Sheila.
Oh, she did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would never forget Sheila. Alright, so I'm getting in here. I have not adjusted my heat, so I'm on the same heat setting as to when I burned under the cinnamon sticks. And that's because I'm moving the pin faster. You don't have to stop and adjust as much. If you get your hand control, your speed, down comfortably, then you don't have to lift as much because you know what to expect. It's not burning super dark. This is the vein, and right now I'm just leaving some space in between. I can go clean it up later. In here is going to be the second darkest part of the leaf, because our light is coming from the left with a little bit of residual light from the right, but not a whole lot. If the light was coming from the top, like this way, nope. Sorry about that, guys. She heard a dog. She's got to tell everybody in the world she heard a dog and talk back to them. It would be lighter inside if the light was streaming straight down, but because it's from the left, our edges and underneath are going to be lighter, while our center is going to be darker. And because I lifted up to move my pin around and point, I'm touching back down in an area I've already burned because I'm less likely to get the blob. Which again, remember, with our leaf, we don't care if we get the blob because there's all kinds of marks and what have you inside the leaf. You know, these are fall leaves, so they're starting to decay. So there's all kinds of texture in there. So if I get a blob in here, I don't care. Not something I have to fix or worry about. But I will burn this lighter so that I have room for adjustment. I'm just kind of blocking in, leaving some space for myself. And see up here, tonal wise, the leaf is actually darker. Looking at the reference photo. I'm just going to quickly put some marks where the veins are, just so I can see them. Leave on one side, I will burn the graphite where the veins are. On the other side, I might leave a lighter stroke. I don't care if this is smooth because this leaf is not smooth. We do need to kind of follow the veins because that gives us our direction. So like this right here where it burned a little darker, it might be too bright on the screen. Let me adjust that for you guys real quick. I'm just going to lower it just a little bit so you guys can see better, and maybe zoom in a hair. There we go. Is that easier for you guys to see? She went and got another bone. We took the bones away from Roxy because she can get quite loud with her chewing. We didn't want that on the mic. So Dad took the bone away and she went and found another one because she is a smart stinker. Alright, nope. This is the center vein right here. So I'm just going to block in real quick, leaving that space just so I have room. This is a curlin. Let's see here. So it's still dark in here. This is inside the leaf. So I'm gonna go right in here. Now there will be some darker areas underneath because not only is the direct light not hitting it, but we have black fabric underneath that's going to cast a bit of darkness. And when we're done with this one, we will bump up to the oak leaf. Since this is a maple leaf, the other one on the bottom is a maple leaf. And the top one is an oak leaf. Alright, so curve this. Can you guys hear the bone chewing? Because if so, she's going to lose this other bone. No. And I do have to remember on this piece, I wanted to add color. I don't know if I'm adding color to the leaves. As we talked last week, I won't be adding color other than white to the glass. I'm waiting for them to respond. It seems loud to me. She's right behind me. So follow these curves. Leave some area at the top just so when we go to put in any highlights we can. Leave some space. This is just blocking in. I won't be going full on darks until everything's blocked in and I erase my graphite, wipe down with denatured alcohol. Let's see here, how did I do this? This is supposed to be a single line. For the curve, you know what, we'll keep it. Nobody'll know.
Burl says hi, everyone.
Hey,
She's in
Burl.
Australia, and it's 4 a.m. there.
He could probably visit with Michelle.
Andrea says she can hear you above the chewing.
About the okay. Sometimes you just need to keep the fur babies happy. Alright, so
Morgan, you can come in.
it's fine.
Morgan's
She's been
freaked
quiet.
out about the door then.
It's fine. She's been quiet. Right here, I've got a lip.
Spence says the chewing doesn't bother him.
Okay. As long as it doesn't bother anybody, I'm fine with it. It does keep her calm.
Yeah.
Alright, so this... trying to figure out where I want to go because this area is turned up. Not as much as I drew. I drew the digital pattern on my tablet using Sketchbook Pro and printed out on tracing paper. Sorry, my brain went doo-doo-doo off for a nice walk. It's a pretty fall day. We're just going to stop in our tracks. Right, get that blocked in. I do keep feeling my tip getting grabbed, and that's because I'm going this way. Remember last week we discussed that, like petting a cat, after you sand a piece of wood, you can feel where the wood may burn easier in one direction versus the other, because if you run your fingers up like petting a cat backwards, you can feel the grain even though you've sanded smooth versus going in the opposite direction. So if you're having an issue with something not burning right, just flip your board and see if it accepts the heat better.
Sheila says she's also fine with the chewing.
Okay, thank you. I try to control the noise, but she is like determined to be chewing a bone right now. Because Dad already played the bad guy and took it away. And remember, our darks also help to shape other parts of the subject. So I can go back in and darken this up. I need this darker than the cinnamon sticks. So right here we have a light area, so I'm going to, right now it'll be a similar tone to here because I'm just blocking in. So I'm just going to get that in. And if you want to see what the difference is, let me look at my fabric. We have a dark area right under here. I'm going to bump up to 3.5 because I can just do it quicker, just so we can bump up against the leaf and see the difference. So using the top half of the tip, I can drag, or I can do oval strokes, whatever is comfortable. Right now I'm just trying to get underneath the leaf, up against that line, because I want you guys to see it pop out, even with this little bit of dark. And when I created this photo, I created it with multiple photos from Envato. We have a paid account. So I hand did placement of each item in there, and actually I had to draw in some fabric to bring it down further. No AI in this household.
Nope.
I made this photo. Alright. So this, we can see, it's not smooth yet because it will go darker. If I kind of just twist my pen just slightly to the right to get the top right leg, I can get it a little hotter. Again, this is on 3.5, but because of how I'm using my pen, it's burning super dark. Because one of the reasons I love this pen and the extra small, they're just so versatile. This is the same one I use for hair, for fur, for all kinds of things. I kind of move it to the left, doing the same thing. Drag it down. And I'm just doing this so we can see where the base of the leaf is. And then we have this other leaf over here. Yep, I got a dark spot here. So I'm just kind of blocking this in so I know where things are at. We've got our glass down here. It has a little bit of light on the fabric, but I'm just gonna drag down. This is the stem for the other one. Look at that. I do need to go back in and work this, and we will do that later, just not on this live. But now we've got the bottom in, and I got this as a lighter gray. So we will just keep moving on. When we go to do fabric, we'll discuss this more. So I know I'm hot, but I can move quickly and still use this temperature. Get up in here to help shape the cinnamon. There we go. And just to give some texture, let's see here, we'll pick a vein. See, I got a blob there, but you know what? Because this is a leaf, it does not matter. Goodness gracious, child. You'd think we'd never given her a bone.
They got new bones just yesterday.
I know. They are very spoiled children.
Yeah, we have bones everywhere.
Some parents worry about Legos. We have to worry about bones.
That's true.
We're already past the Lego phase, except when the grandkids are here. Alright. So again, see, it doesn't matter that I went a little crazy, because veins and leaves are all over the place. So we can use that to our advantage. And they're just good practice for shading. And don't require perfect shading at all. And So I will keep building up the darks within this leaf, and we are going to pop over. I'm actually going to turn down to 2.5, so that was one step. And even with 2.5, I can burn pretty dark within the fabric just by changing my strokes. Alright, so now let me see the best angle to get to the oak leaf. Now although it's not necessarily on the reference pattern too strong for the Super Toasties who have this pattern, there is going to be a cast shadow on this pumpkin because this was a flat leaf that I downloaded that I worked on my tablet to stretch and reshape and kind of bend. So I pulled these parts of the oak up, oak leaf up. That was a tongue twister. While pushing this one back. So it's going to be the same as the maple leaf. I'm going to use the top half of my tip. Small oval strokes. Leave some separation in between where the veins are going to go. And see, this is also going to have a cast shadow from the stem. This pumpkin didn't come with this stem. I actually pulled another stem and incorporated it onto this pumpkin because I liked the interest of it versus just the short cut off. So, and again, I lifted my pen, so it's going to burn a little hotter because all pens recover their heat. The wood acts as a heat sink and pulls the heat, so you gotta be careful. You may not burn yourself on your pen, but if you lay your hand on an area you just burned, you will burn your hand. Ask me how I know that one. Because I myself have done that many a time moving around my board. So I may also leave some space not only for the veins, but also because I do want to add color. And if I do a light burn, color will still sit on top of it. But if I burn dark, the burning itself acts like a relief. Meaning, is relief right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Acts like a relief and keeps the color from attaching to the wood. So I have to keep that in mind and just as we go figure out what I want colored where. And I have no intentions of color in the whole thing. I just want an accent of color. And like this pumpkin has got green on it. And I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do the green part of the pumpkin in color or if I'm going to do it differently. I don't know yet. Alright, let's pull out some veins. Here I'm going right up against this line because I'm going to leave a gap on the above side.
Spence just got the live notification.
Ugh, because of course. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. Alright, so because I have bent this leaf, even though it's not in the drawing, I'm going to have to darken in here to create that shadow of something folding, like a piece of paper. Depending on where the light hits. The inside may be darker than the outside. So we're just gonna put some dark in here. And because I made this vein thicker, I can go up against the line on both sides. We want to make it look like it's folding, so the veins do have to go in that direction. We're going to break it up a little bit so it's not all dark. Drag in the direction of how we see the leaf going. So like here, I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap because I didn't put a second line because I didn't want as much graphite. So I'm going to pull this vein about here, and then we're going to put this one in. So I can leave little spaces that allow me to adjust. And remember, as a vein and a leaf goes up, in general, it tends to get thinner, but not always. But all of these little decisions help us to make it look more realistic. I don't want it to be flat. I want it to look like there's a leaf sitting back here. And I'm leaving some white areas because not everything is perfect.
Spence says he always has trouble with showing where the light hits across all of his work.
Okay. Always has I'm trying to think how to address that. Well, bottom line, because you're the artist, you could pick the direction you want the light to go in, as long as you're up this here, as long as you stay consistent across the piece, meaning if more of the light's coming on the left, I would keep the left side of the pumpkin lighter, the left side of the cup, as long as you keep, if there's multiple things. I know you're working on a landscape, and that doesn't necessarily always apply because light bounces around outside.
Some messages just came in that I did not see. So Carmen is here.
Hey, Carmen.
Beryl is also actually here.
Yeah, we said hi to Beryl.
Well, I saw that Spence said that she was in.
Oh.
So I didn't think that she would be in.
Well, he's off traipsing across the
the 4
globe.
where she is, though.
Yeah. Alright, so getting in here and just darkening up the end because the leaf is dying, and I did darken. I adjusted the photo so that areas darkened up because I wanted darks to make it more interesting. I know a lot of people have a hard time putting in darks, which is why I have a black fabric and dark gray fabric in the background so we can work on that. I know we've done it in the past, but this is kind of a more basic reminder. And see, by leaving the veins, we start getting the texture. I can back out a little bit of things going on. It's just not a flat piece. I'll come back and put a shadow when we put this in. So there, I've got what could be viewed as a blob, but it could also be a bug hole, or where the leaf is starting to decay more. So I don't have to stress about it. It still looks like a realistic leaf.
True.
In fact, it gives it more character, which makes it more convincing. Let's bring this to the edge.
Carmen's saying, it amazes me how you can move from one part to the other without missing a beat.
Oh, hon, this is 20 years of doing this. My 20th year will be the middle of December. And if you don't feel comfortable doing it, you are doing nothing wrong. It's just my brain it has its own funky way of working, allows me to jump around like that. But since I'm just focusing on the leaf, it makes it easier. If I was trying to focus on the pumpkins and everything else, I would probably make this overwhelming for people. So I'm trying to be good and stick to an area. Now let's curl some of these veins because that gives us the feeling of it being curled. Kind of go off in our own direction here and there. And let me, I forgot this leaf up here. And right now I'm really just sketching in. I'm just laying out so I can erase. Because these leaves will change a bit as I put more shading in. So they will not stay. But we won't see like a big jump on that until after everything else is put in. I do better if I block everything in first, erase my graphite, wipe down my board with denatured alcohol / mineral spirits, or is that right? No, not mineral spirits. Methylated spirits, and clean my wood.
Carmen says her brain malfunctions sometimes.
That's okay. Sometimes my eyes start bouncing because I'm all over the place, and sometimes I can have a hard time focusing my eyes. If your brain starts bouncing around, that's the time to take a break.
Yep.
That's your brain saying, I need to breathe for a moment. You've been working hard. Alright. So when that happens, just take a break. There's no rush. Even if you're working on a commission or a time frame, if you go too heavy too long, you will ultimately have an oops that you may not like and have to sit and sand back the area and fix. So if your brain gets overwhelmed, just take the break. Get up, walk around, look at something at a far distance so your eyes can refocus, because we are highly focused. That's why my eyes start bouncing. You see, as I put more in and leave space for lighter areas, hey baby, I start getting texture. It really starts looking like a leaf. Let's see here.
When I've been going too long, I get sleepy.
You get sleepy? I get sleepy when I'm doing a ton of stippling because it's a repeated pattern over and over again. Even if I put music on to help me go, stippling can still knock me out. And I have burned while dozing off before. I do not recommend it. If you get that far, turn your burner off. It just, you're more likely to burn yourself. And if you've been working hard on a piece, you're more likely to do something that you really don't like. I don't necessarily want to say an oops, because sometimes oopses really liven up a piece. And when that happens, it's called an artistic decision.
But I wouldn't fall asleep while you're working just to have a
No.
oops.
No. Absolutely not.
Unless you want to make the artistic decision to burn down your house.
Yeah, it's dangerous. We do have a dangerous art medium if we are not paying attention. So right now, those are just lighter areas. I'm just leaving them in there. Oops, I went a little hot there. So this is where, again, artistic choice comes in. I know I need this darker anyway. And sometimes, if you get a blob on something you didn't want a blob, and all you need to do is go darker to fix it, sometimes I think that's just your subconscious going, hey, you need to darken this area, and now you got a chance to do it. Because darks are hard. The darks are highly, highly needed. You will never have a realistic burn without darks. Because all you'll have are lights and monotones, and it just won't feel right. So if you've got burnings that don't feel right, put them down for a few, come back to it, or take a picture. Taking a picture is always, always good. I take a picture each time I stop burning for a second, because you will view the burning different because it's a different size, and it'll allow you to see what needs to go darker. I'll try to show you. I'll back off the camera here. That way those new can see what I mean. See, right now you guys are up close and personal. Nobody is going to be standing this close to my piece, like in general. I mean, do I do that to others? Yeah, well, I do. I get in there.
I mean, they might be sitting that close.
Yeah, they could be. But there's also going to be a frame around it, which is going to change the aspect of it. Let's see, I'm looking at reference. But walking up on it, it will look different. Let's see here, I've got a dark, I didn't put my X's in. I've got a dark right there.
Carmen says taking a picture of your work really does.
It does.
See you burning in a different way.
Yep.
Spence says, I take a picture every time I'm done for the day. You see the things you didn't notice before.
Yep. Because your brain's looking at it different. It's functioning different. And so it sees it different. So let's back off for a minute. Just see if I can make that. I remembered I zoomed in, so I need to inadvertently put it down. There we go. Oh. Okay. Alright, I don't got my good. Alright, so let's back it off. That's coming across really red. Or blue. Duh. I'm just kind of messing with my white balance so you guys can see it more correctly. Because it bugs me when it's off. Alright. So, that's closer. We don't have a lot of information in, so it's actually going to be harder to see. But if you squint at the screen, you'll see what stands out. I'll give you a second to squint. This is going to be no different than if you're looking at a photo on your phone. But if you squint your eyes, all the darks will stand out first. And as we know, the cinnamon right here, all this right here is standing out to me before the rest of this is standing out. And that is because we're looking at it differently by squinting. Our brain is reading it differently. So if you only have a little bit of dark down here, but nothing else is dark, it's not going to feel right. So you can see, while squinting, I can really see, and you'll need to do that more once you get everything blocked in, because then you can start making your adjustments. Whew! I was doing cinema sticks look off to me. Well, they're not done. And unfortunately, I have an ongoing family emergency, and I wasn't able to finish burning like I wanted to. So right now it's off because I haven't finished them. I wanted to, but
no, got a lot going on.
Got a lot going on. In fact, if I have to cancel a live in the next couple of weeks as we're working on this, that would be why I have to travel out of state. And we'll just leave it at that, because it's a hard situation. Anyway, focus, happy thoughts. So now, you know what, let's do some erasing. I think we have enough information. We'll pick the oak leaf first. Yeah. We're going to start erasing. I may need to do some burning underneath of the fabric right here, so I don't let's do that. So underneath we have some lighter fabric, the darker fabric's up here, so I should be able to keep my temperature. I'm just gonna top half of my tip, smaller strokes, and I'm just doing this so when I erase I don't lose my leaf. I know exactly where it is, and this is part of the blocking in process, because you'll see, make sure I'm on screen. I'm gonna actually up my heat so we can go a little quicker. I'm gonna go to 3. You could do this with the ball tip. In fact, you could do the leaf with the ball tip, and that shouldn't be an issue. If you don't have a shader that you care for, you can definitely use a spoon shader. We're not getting cranky. Yeah. I'm going to not go full on dark because that is fabric behind, and I need to be able to adjust, but I do need quickly just get this in. That way, as I'm erasing, I'm not losing. I probably want to erase here because I don't want to lose the pumpkin area. But in here, I can erase. Again, not going on full dark because I need room to adjust. The black is right here. This is the fabric coming down. Somebody is looking at somebody else's bone, and somebody ain't happy about it. Yeah, cranky butt. Reva is now almost as big as Roxy. She's not even 6 months yet.
You want me to take them out?
No, just take the bone. No, can't be good kids. They don't get the bone.
Morgan.
Alright, so there. We know that the leaf is right there. We can do some erasing. Mom tends to be the hard butt.
Spence says, if you burn on the line, will it make it harder to erase it? I have a hard time getting rid of it.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it can. Remember, if at all possible, get a graphite paper that is wax free. That's part of your problem because it melts the wax into the wood. making it harder to remove. I'm using where is it at? I made sure to bring the label. My walnut hollow graphite paper that is wax free. Let's see here. Although I notice it doesn't say wax free on here, and unfortunately, maybe it's on the back. No, it used to say wax free on it. Huh. Did they change the formula? Well, I guess it doesn't matter because they're no longer in business. It just says remove with a soft eraser. It used to say wax free on it. But since they've gone out of business, it may be hard to get. I bought like 9 packages. And because I can erase on this side. Because I cut down we discussed it last week, but we can go over it again. Because I cut down my graphite paper, it lasts longer because, and this is even a big piece, the walnut hollow came in 12 by 24, but it was folded. Normally I cut on the fold, this is 2. Normally I cut it down to 1. I don't know why I didn't. It really didn't matter. And I can reuse just this one little heat. I don't know how well it's going to pick up. You can see how much graphite I've pulled off of it because I've done so many patterns with this one piece. But yet I still have all these dark lines going on. Like you can see the cup handle right there. So I can easily do, well, a bunch of it. But as you use it more, it does lighten up. So cut it down. It'll last longer. Wax free if possible. Or if it came across a little dark, which I could have done that here, because it did, is erase first and then start burning. That way you have less graphite on the board to start off with, if it's possible. When I go to clean my wood with denatured alcohol, after I've done all the erasing, it does pull graphite, and then you just go back over and erase again, and it'll all go away.
Spence says walnut hollow is what he's using too.
Okay, yeah. Just do some erasing before you start burning. If you've gotten it too dark, like there's areas where I've gotten it too dark, do your burning, do your erasing. Once you're blocked in, wipe down with the denatured alcohol. Because I think that's what they call it in Canada. It will pull and lighten your burning a little bit, and that's because it removed the carbon that's just sitting on top of the wood. Let me see if I can get some. I did some pretty good erasing. Your eraser might get a little brown, and I'm using the 4-in-1 Vanish eraser. I love these, but these white high polymer erasers, this is Pentel, they also work well too.
Spence says okay, thanks.
Yeah, just try to lighten your graphite before you start burning, and then when you go to clean your wood, it should come off. Or at least go light enough that once you're done with all your burn, you just don't see it. Alright. So erasing can lighten your burn, and that's just the graphite that's sitting on top of the wood. My pen's been on the whole time, so I know it's super hot. So I'm going to touch down in an area that I have already burned to darken up some areas, and then these veins are too light. So I'm gonna do just a quick burn over them. Right now what I'm doing is just trying to shape Hopefully I'm on camera. Oop, I can go a little down. Sorry. We can turn.
You're getting close to 1 hour.
Already? Whew.
Already.
We got any more questions? If I have to cancel the live, I will post it in the Big Drawing with Fire group. I will also post on here on YouTube as a community post, so make sure you are subscribed and notifications are turned on so you can see those posts. And on top of that, if you don't see the live starting, then you just know to look, and that just means my emergency has gone. Now requires travel, and so I can't live stream.
Spence says he's using a Stedler
Yep.
PVC for eraser.
Yep, that works too. That works too. So see, I got a little creative with those strokes. Oh, got a blob.
No.
Don't care. That just looks like a decay spot. Don't care. Not gonna stress. I've gotten a little crazy. Alright, so now I can go flat and just kind of tone the veins. Again, I don't think I'm going to put too much color on here, so I can slowly build up the tone on the veins if I want to. They're not going to go as dark as the rest of the leaf because that is not how these veins are. Some veins are darker than the actual leaf body, so I just need to pay attention to that. Let's see here, how far does this go up? We'll just bring it up here. Why not? Flat and just moving around.
Carmen has to go.
Bye, Carmen.
She says see everybody next time.
Yep. I expect to be here next week. Again, if I have to cancel. Oh, you'll know about it in the secret group. And if you don't know what the secret group is, that is the Super Toasty group for paid members. They get bigger updates and input on what we're doing and photos and patterns. Member only lives. Exactly. I think I'm going to keep this one light, this area for now, but I can go over where I erased to kind of blend. I think we're going to make a turn right here. And see, that's the beauty of doing leaves. You can change them up. Nobody will ever know the difference because it will always look like a leaf. It will always look like a leaf. And that's why I think they're the best to get started with.
I think a lot of art schools, or I don't know, maybe, but leaves are commonly used.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of, when I was in Drawing 1, leaf was one of our first projects.
Oh, see, we did fabric, same concept.
We did fabric as well. I think we did leaves first, though.
Well, my brain didn't think about that aspect.
Well,
it's been a long time since I took a drawing class.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's because they're so unique.
You can't screw up a leaf.
And
you really can't.
Yeah, and it's also a confidence builder too.
Yep.
Because as long as you can make it look like a leaf, you're good. Because nobody can say like, "Hey, that doesn't look like exactly like the leaf that you drew." Only you know that, unless you post the leaf.
Yeah, unless you post the photo, nobody else knows.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as it reads like a leaf, it's a leaf.
Mm-hmm. But you learn a lot in doing that. actually leaves and fabrics and anything like that is really
trees.
helpful.
Alright, there we go. Just putting some more type of veins. See, I got a little, let's see here, there it is. Okay. Kind of lost my place for a second. But we're back. Because we got this vein right here. I think I'm going to go up against it. And again, got to remember we have a cast shadow that's going to be right about there, I think. Alright, we got this coming in. This will still need to go darker, but because we kind of need more information, so I'm not going to... It's okay, Spence. You don't have to post photos of your work. I know you send them to me, but you're super toasty, so you get my extra attention with some input.
He says just the final burn.
Yeah.
And Andrea says, no.
No.
I don't know what that's in regard to.
Maybe it's about Spence that she wants to see. Spence, how about you post in the Super Toasties group? Because you know you're going to get a lot of love in there. I'm just going to put a dark right here. That's what this little X on the pattern. This is the where there's a fold in the fabric. So I'm just going to put that in there.
I would say that, like, in most cases, for people posting their work and maybe you're concerned about it or you don't want to do it, I would say just keep in mind that the community is probably going to be a lot more supportive than you think. Yeah, kinder than you are to yourself.
Actually, he showed me a picture of what he's working on, and he is doing a wonderful job. You wouldn't know that he hadn't been burning for several years now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make him blush now because he doesn't think so. But here, real quick. I'm not going to show it on camera, but I am going to show it to Hubcap. Just so he knows what I'm talking about. So, this is what he sent me the other day. Tell me this isn't worth posting, at least in the super group.
Oh, wow.
See, he has not been burning in a couple of years, but he's been to the lives.
That's really cool.
Been keeping things in mind, and he already has.
And this is and this is what I'm talking about, because that's my genuine reaction. Like, this is really cool, Spence. Is that when you post your work in progress or you post your other stuff, you may not like it, but you're going to get feedback from other artists, and they're going to find things about it that they like. And there might be some criticism, but it is a work in progress, so nobody. Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't think anybody would be too hard on it. But
his base lighting is already looking wonderful.
Yeah, it's looking really good. But I think it's important to get that feedback and encouragement because it helps your motivation. Because when you say, hey, yeah, I'm working on this, and somebody says, yeah, I really like the way that the railroad tracks, I like the quality of them. I like how they're shaded. I like the shiny spot on the rails on both sides. I think that's important because it's giving you additional feedback of things that you're doing right as well. And so if you don't do that, then you just have your own insecurities. And I'm not attacking anybody because I do this too. I think all artists have a tendency.
Oh yeah.
Because you want to hide it until you think it's perfect, but
it will never be perfect.
Sometimes it's helpful to have feedback when it's during the work in progress phase, because people might give you ideas that you didn't necessarily have.
That you like better.
Like I and I'm not referencing your work. I'm just saying on my own work. Like somebody who's seen my work, like I remember them saying, "Oh wow, I really like the fog in this piece." Well, I didn't paint any fog in that piece, but that's what they saw, and it helped me see that too, right? And I was like, "Oh, this is how you paint fog by accident."
Oops.
And so I learned something from that, and and somebody might say, oh, it's really cool if you have a, I don't know, a rabbit here, and then you might think, oh, that is cool,
Or I don't like that idea, but maybe it gives you a different idea.
Or you show it to Valarie, who's the big idea woman, and she says, tell you what I see, JP.
No, I try very hard not to do that to anybody
I
but
see a
you.
locomotive speeding down the tracks. Damsel tied to the tracks. There's a guy in a big hat and a mustache. Also, there's an eagle swooping in. The guy in the mustache doesn't see it. Lasers and explosions. Oh my.
God, I'm seeing a lot here.
There you go.
But isn't he, he hasn't burned in multiple years. But looking at this, you would not realize
No, you
that.
don't know that.
He is doing a fabulous job.
So, like Val said, you're better than you think.
Yes, he
and that's
is.
all artists, except for the ones that are super egotistical and using AI.
Yeah, we ain't
They're
talking
definitely
about
worse
them.
than they think.
We ain't talking
All
about
right.
them.
Anyway, sorry. I don't know where that came from. Anyway.
Got some feelings going on there. Oops, I forgot.
Possibly.
I forgot a transfer line right there.
Yeah. But, but I think getting feedback from other artists, especially from a community that's as supportive as Valarie's, I think that can only help, because it's going to help you see things about your work that you wouldn't see normally, and maybe give you ideas, and definitely give you encouragement.
Sorry, I missed the line and I just saw it. So this...
Spence
Is it
says,
X?
I appreciate your input, and I will post it, but I'm already off from the original picture. Spence,
I'm not going to know
I
that.
appreciate your honesty, but
But we're not going to know
we
that.
don't care.
Yeah,
care.
I don't care either. It's an
It's your
artistic
piece.
choice.
So if you're off from the main picture,
Who cares?
that may be a function of how you're working or how that piece is coming together. So
No.
you don't have a stake in this.
Yeah, that's dark.
Just so you know, Morgan's nose is underneath your chair.
Okay. Thank you. Let's see here. I'm just
And I'm
quickly
gonna
putting
take
some
them out
X's.
of here in a minute.
Yeah,
because
we're going to start closing off.
I got a feeling.
Somebody's getting a little cranky.
And,
Food time.
Well, and if Princess Chaos
That's her nickname when we don't want to alert her.
senses that, I think she knows now though, because she just looked at me when I said it.
Princess Chaos.
Yeah, she perked up. All right, she knows that's her nickname.
She knows that. Cute. Now we
come
got to come up with another nickname.
New code name.
A new code name.
Um.
She's earned Princess Chaos, though, let me tell you.
Because when she thinks that it's time for her to eat, she becomes ridiculous,
Monster.
unmanageable, incorrigible. See, she left.
Yeah. She has Dad trained pretty darn well.
I know.
Let's see, I am a commercial, so I'm missing what yours. Oh. So we gave him all this praise, but he got a commercial and didn't hear it.
Will you hear it on replay?
He will hear it on replay.
You're gonna have to
yes.
go back and watch it on replay, Spence. Just this last part, so you can hear all the good encouragement.
Yeah, I am very proud of you. You need to post it in the super group, because now all the supers are going to go, okay, what are they talking about? I want to see.
You see what's going on here.
Okay, well, go ahead.
All right. It was good hanging out with you guys. Thanks for going.
No.
Sorry.
Sorry, we had to mute to get the doggies out because Roxy, she got a loud bark and I didn't want to hurt your ears, and it had already started. So yes, Spence, we were giving you the love, so you're going to have to sorry about the ads. Unfortunately, there are ads for everybody on public, but 0 ads if you're a member. I do not turn them on at all. Okay, so next week, pending life not throwing the loop, that ultimately will be coming sooner rather than later, probably. I think next week, and I am going to spend some time burning. The fabric is going to be the last part because it's just the background. I think, what you guys like? We've got pumpkin 1, pumpkin 2, and pumpkin 3. Whatever we do on one pumpkin, we'll be basically doing on the other one. So I think my main focus pumpkin-wise was going to be on the warty pumpkin. Let me pull the reference up for you. There you go. So it'll be the pumpkin on the left. I wanted a I'm trying to get, there we go. Trying to find the file. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you guys so you can see. There we go. I wanted multiple different textures, heights, stem lengths. That's why I changed this stem on the pumpkins, just to add interest. And if you notice, I intentionally laid it out so that the stems are coming this way, and what this does is your eye follows the stem, bringing you to the main subject, which is the cup. That's part of a little layout trick. When you're laying out, look to see where your lines are going, because if you have a bunch of lines going out, what that does is it takes your viewer's eye away from your subject. But if you kind of switch things around and turn those lines inward, it brings your viewer, because English speaking tends to read left to right from up down. So our eyes in general, though not always, tends to start in the left corner and work its way around. So when we get to this stem, our eyes look at the pumpkin, ooh, it's warty, and then we follow this stem, which takes us right here. And we look at this pumpkin, ooh, let's follow this stem, and it takes us right here. So there's little tricks on that one. You want pumpkin 1 spins. Alright. I think we'll work on pumpkin 1 because I'm still working on the color. So I think I'm going to put some green in here. We've got yellow on this pumpkin. I wouldn't use yellow because we're working on basswood. Yellow doesn't always sit right on a piece, on a burning piece. There is going to be orange added to warty pumpkin. And maybe I should add, I only want to keep it at 3 colors or below. Anything more than that, when you put a whole bunch of different colors on a piece, it overwhelms the burning and you no longer see the burning. And we're working our tissues off for the burning. The color for me, again, that is an artistic choice. Other people make different choices. I'm preferring to stick with 3 colors or less. Orange and green are more of a complementary colors, meaning they bounce off of each other. So the orange and the green are just going to stand out more. But I'll have to do some color testing. So I'm not sure if I want to add some red down here. I don't know. The cup will not be colored. I think as we go through it more, as we get more burning in, I can probably narrow down what colors. But for now, we're going to focus on burning. So pumpkin 1, warty pumpkin next week. And then after that, we will do fabric. Then we'll be close to done on the burning aspect. I am going to color on screen. That will be a public live, so we don't have to worry about that. I'm going to make this smaller because what I need to do, put that here, and see, I will take a picture of this after the live just so I can document where it's at. My camera is, there we go. Alrighty, you know what to say with me. You're awesome. You can do this. Why? Because you're a pyro artist. Happy burning! If you're new, don't forget to hit subscribe. Bye. Boop, 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 boop.